Hi, beautiful friends. I love you. I'm gonna try. I've tried this a couple times and it's never worked. I'm gonna try to make a longer video just describing, the parts of my life that have added together to make me me, some of the things I've gone through. I probably won't mention necessarily all of the lessons, that I've derived from all of these experiences, but I could imagine that intuitively you would be able to connect some dots, understanding, like what experience I've had, right? What emotions kind of are associated with those experiences and lessons and whatnot. I know there's new people coming into my life, and I know that it's important for everyone that knows me knows that I'm just fully dedicated to this transformation of our consciousness, our relationship with each other, and our relationship to Source. I love you. I was born in 1977 at 111, and I said that at 111. I was in my mom for 11 months. My grandfather was a twin, and there was enough abnormalities and evidence that I was a twin, but I absorbed my twin in my mom's belly. I was born into a family. My mom and my dad split, I think when I was 2. My mom and my stepdad married when I was like 4. And I think my dad and my stepmom married when I was like 5 or 6. I grew up in Huntington Beach, and I was always introverted. I basically had one friend. His name is Yaniv. I had another friend named Greg. Most of my time was spent with Yaniv, and I just didn't really connect with a lot of people. I just was so sensitive and emotional. I really liked to be by myself, with my dog at home, but there was a society to experience, there was a civilization to experience, and so like things were seemingly required of us as, parts of this society, to intertwine our energies and partake in some of these, situations and events and belief systems, right, and activities. I remember early on, like, just knowing that, like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on in this world, and how could everybody else just know that they didn't know what was going on? You just woke up, came out of your mom, and I don't know what's going on, and then there's all these people that act like they know what's going on, and they're making rules for everybody else, and it just didn't make sense to me. I remember saying things at an earlier age, that just knowing that I wasn't the only person looking through my eyeballs, whatever that means to you, right? Also, like, I never, as a family, we never kind of broke down or understood what empathicness was, right? Empathy. But I would say, like, people's hatred hurts my body, and I just didn't want to live. I remember when I was old enough to, find out about cigarettes and drinking and drugs, not old, but still old enough to know about it, I just didn't really agree with it because it just didn't seem pure. But I did get stoned for the first time off peer pressure, like when I was like 17 or 18, I think. I think so. Maybe it was 16. I don't know. Oh, no, yeah, it probably was. I don't know, 16, 17. And my mom and stepdad were both in the legal world. My mom was a security guard, at like Buffums or something like that. My stepdad was a sheriff. So I knew not to, like, at that point in my life, not to expect them to believe that cannabis was making me feel better. Because at that point, I was dealing with depression. I was dealing with wanting to die, but the marijuana seemed to like remold my thinking into the ability to connect, you know, to other things than just sadness. And so I had found out one time, I think my sister or somebody told me, oh shit, probably had to have been my sister, hey, mom found the bong in the car, you're in trouble. You know. So I came home and I cut my wrists because I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I knew that that was the thing that was saving my mental illness. I didn't know how to articulate this, but I knew mom wouldn't understand it. I didn't think she'd forgive me or, you know, love me. So I'm cutting my wrist. My friend comes in the room, tackles me. So then you get locked up, you know. You get prescribed and, you know, identified as what your problematic aspects were. Chemical imbalances. As if there's a balanced human that they measured against, right? It's all so corrupt and ass backwards. You just got to come from the heart. There's no such thing as normal. There's not like a baseline that you can measure, right? So yeah, I had the ability to go polar, to go, you know, to the extreme of love and to the extreme of fear. I could unknowingly witness these different timelines that were potential. So after finding out that you can fly under the radar, as far as, you know, the world is concerned, the Matrix, if you were just a crazy person, you just have to be crazy, take pills, you don't have to be part of the society, accountable. Oh, perfect, that's where I want to be then, because I don't want to be here. And then eventually it just got hard enough. I attempted suicide a couple more times, ate a bunch of pills. Really should have killed me. Should have killed me the first time, should have killed me the second time. And the third time, they weren't like right next to each other. The first two times were one day apart, but then I got some help, you know, whatever. More drugs, more concoctions, more blood work, more therapy, and then I decided I wanted to die again. And I went to the store and stole some sleeping pills. And I thought I was going to just take, you know, Tylenol PM, the bottle of Tylenol PM. And I look at the back and it says 25 milligrams of the sleeping agent, you know, contained within. And I look at the pills next to it, the Unison, and it had 50 milligrams of the sleeping agent. Well, I thought the sleeping agent was what I needed to put me to sleep. If I would have taken the acetaminophen, it would have ripped a hole in my stomach and fucked my shit up. But I'm starting to take these 32 pills in the bottle. Angels catch my attention. I don't know what it was at the time. They're like, 32? They're like, you don't need that many. You could kill yourself with 23. So I took 23. Listening to these little voices in my head, not knowing, you know, these are demons and angels and whatnot. So then I get locked up. I wake up actually, and I see the doctor in a lab coat, and I thought I was in heaven. He had such a beautiful aura, plus all white, plus waking up from wherever I had been. Either way, I just couldn't kill myself. God wasn't going to let me. I was frustrated for a while longer. And then I realized, you know what? If God's not going to let me die, then maybe I should just plan on staying here until I die. And, you know, maybe learn about something. I'll learn about the body, because I'll have the body the whole time until I die, right? So then I took classes on massage therapy. This was like right around 2000, 99, 2000, I believe, 2001. Got into that, really loved the anatomy, really loved all of the electives, you know, like reflexology, polarity, lots of, you know, acupressure. So I studied up a lot on aromatherapy, color therapy, you know, lots of different things. And then I got into the potential of doing more than just the physical. So I thought, oh, I'll learn Reiki. I had heard about Reiki. So I got attuned to Reiki 2001. Shortly after that, I was in a relationship. And at that point, the mother of my girlfriend, she was talking, the story goes, she was in the cafeteria at her work at Nestle Alcon, talking about how her girlfriend's, or maybe I've been her son-in-law at the time. Maybe her son-in-law had just been attuned to this thing called Reiki. She was just proud and talking about it. Story goes, right? And someone talked back and said, "Hey, I do energy work too. I would love to meet him." And so she orchestrated, like they talked about a time that night that we would meet. So later that night, myself, my wife, and my mother-in-law went to Fountain Valley. And we went to this chiropractic office and we met this gentleman. He was about 6'4". He was huge. We had 2 other people with him, and we proceeded to sit down in the office. And he positioned himself in front of me about 5 feet away from me, 4 or 5 feet, heart to heart. He said, "We're going to align our hearts, and I'm just going to blast you with this energy. I do my energy work differently." If you've ever seen the movie with Ashton Kutcher, The Butterfly Effect, where everything kind of shakes into and out of reality, that's what happened to him. He started vibrating to where I was like, what the fuck? I've only seen this in that one movie. And then he turned into a slee stack. I'm 44 years old, so I've been around and I've seen the land of the lost, right? And that was the first time that I know the Human Collective was introduced to the idea of bipedal dragons, for lack of a better word. He turned into this. So I with my attention, I say, oh my gosh, he's turning into a statue of a slee stack, because it was white. So I was like, how is he's like gray, he's white, but his features are defined by the shadows, which looks gray. It looked like it was a concrete bipedal dragon, if that makes sense, but I didn't know what to think. I've had tattoos of gray aliens since I was 15 years old. I actually have 13, I think, gray alien tattoos, all different style. Gray's creating the universe, evolution from monkey to man to alien. I have alien Jesus, alien Buddha. So if I would have been consciously aware on any level that there was anything other than these little green Martian gray aliens, then I would have probably gotten more tattoos of them, right? I had no conscious awareness. So in 2001, when I'm witnessing this decloaking of a dragon, I guess what people are calling, these Dracos. Funny thing is, we ended up leaving after he transformed. My wife and my mother-in-law said, they're like, oh wow, looks like you're turning into one of those Easter Island heads. Like all my facial features were chiseled. Morning. So we literally went to Yogurtland after this and never spoke of it again. So obviously there was some powerful mind control within these beings to have us ignore these amazing discussions and ideas and possibilities. So I've seen lots of crazy stuff. That was that. And then in 2015 with that wife, Father's Day, solstice. My daughter was born on 12/21. So on June 21, Father's Day 2015, I was asked to leave. I wasn't in a state of a mind where I felt like that was normal, natural, deserved, right? Like the next step. Like I wasn't who I am now, but I still remember just being like, what? So I leave and moved to Sedona. My mom's in Sedona, and she's taking care of my stepdad. He's not doing good. And so I go out there and I try to take care of both of them and enjoy the properties and stuff. And I end up receiving these downloads. I end up receiving all of this information. So it's like two things important for me, life-changing. One, the information that came in is one, but how the information came in, because it wasn't there before, and I didn't understand that we were organic computers. I didn't have the comprehension that you could have a download. So just like I can email you the file folder of the movie The Matrix, and in your memory of your computer, you would now have all of the bits of information. You would have all of the memory, the knowledge, the story. So it was just crazy. And I actually thought it was collective download. I mean, I remember literally coming out of my bedroom one morning after a group of downloads, totally assuming everybody got them, and just starting a conversation with my mom about these downloads. And she just didn't get them. She didn't know where I was coming from. And I kept talking to her while I was receiving this information every day. And me and my mom were really close. She always took care of me when I was broken, mentally. She did not get what I was saying. Like, she would get it during the day. At the night, she would almost get it. She would wake up and she would have no connection to any of these ideas, no connection to source, no connection to me, no connection to this disclosure, this ascension. It was like she was mind wiped at night. Come to find out, that is a thing that happens with the moon, with these technologies. So there's just a craziness. So I'm just overwhelmed. And I'm like, how is my mom not getting this through her thick skull? And I'm like, maybe it's my stepdad. He's been a punk. He's beaten me when I was young, belt, hit me in the face. This guy's just like a total sourpuss. You know what I mean? Doesn't love my mom the way he should. And it is what it is. So I'm just like, maybe this guy's some kind of a clown. So I start talking to him and to my mom instead of directing my energies at my mom. And I use the words negative alien agenda to describe what we're going through at this point in time. And he looks up from me, from looking down at a sandwich, and he mad dogs the shit out of me. Like, he just wants to murder everything about me. My mom said a half hour later, she's like, did you see his eyes? They turned all black. The whole white, the whole blue, everything turned black. And it's like, yeah, Mom, humans don't do that. But I love you. It is all good. We're having an ascension process. Not everybody's real. We got to wake up. We got to do what's best for, the innocents and for ourselves, so we can serve. But my mom has had a crazy life of her own, right? Her mother passed away when she was 13. Her mother had cancer and found that out when she found out she was pregnant, and chose to not have chemotherapy because she didn't want to destroy the child. So my mom has this guilt. My mom has this mother that was taken away from her. And my mom is the best mom in the world. How the fuck did she pull that off without having any thing to look at, any reference point? I don't know. Maybe she's just a real angel. She's an Aquarius, so she's probably a real angel. And my stepdad, or my grandfather, is balm as fuck when it comes to being a grandpa. But when it comes to being a dad, shit, he was broken as fuck because of all that shit that's going on with his wife and his life. So, he would tell my mom stuff like, hey, if I catch you riding your bike across the street, I'm going to shave your head. So like, my mom maybe didn't have it super easy, right? But she's a great mom. In 2015, there was also parts of me that was like having these like secret space program, recollections, these bits and pieces. And it was so satisfying to be able to finally scratch the itch, to finally have everything make sense, everything I'd been through, all the emotions, the trauma, just how I was so traumatized, but I didn't have like external evidence to prove, kind of like PTSD, I remember when I was going through all of this depression, qualifying for medical cannabis in Arizona and stuff like that. I had everything that a PTS patient does, but you literally are required to have been in a war for some of these medical facilities to consider you valid PTSD. You can have all of the symptoms, all of the everything, but if you had, so it's like, well, I had been in a fucking war, but it was in my mind, it was in the subconscious, and it was mind wiped. So I'm dealing with it, but on a subconscious level, which makes you fucking crazy. So a lot of this was released in 2015. So then I'm dealing with, this knowledge of these gray aliens underground and even like my involvement, my grandfather's involvement, and like this heavy mind control, and like these rogue AI, like sending messages to these mercenaries, and these mercenaries thinking it's governmental operations. I mean, there is so much things that I'm dealing with in my mind, discovering all of these truths. So traumatic, and then I just I had a really difficult time manifesting, the next step, because I just didn't have any assistance, any support, anybody that like trusted me and loved me and wanted to help me heal, move on to the next level. I had a friend in California, my friend Yaniv, I spoke of earlier. He did some ayahuasca, and he was connected temporarily, right? Through, to God, and he received a message to take care of me. I'm on a mission. I ain't gonna stop. I ain't gonna slow. I'm here to like shift these frequencies into, this age of Aquarius, 5th dimension, unconditional love. So he comes and gets me in Sedona, takes me back. Well, the ayahuasca wears off, right? You know what I mean? Like eventually, and then so he's not really as connected to God and his intention to protect me and love me and support me while I'm on my mission. So then I end up going to live with a paraplegic friend. He had an extra room and he needed help, so I staying with him. And then I ended up leaving his place and going to my sister's. At this point, I didn't have anything, because in 2015, when I learned all of this stuff about reality, I gave up my driver's license. I gave up being the Dustin in all capitals. I gave up my car. So now I'm back, for lack of a better word, in the matrix. I'm at my sister's. She's a matrix girl. She's just like, you have to get a job, you have to da-da-da. So she's like, you're lucky. She's Lyft is having this program with Hertz Rent-A-Car, and you can rent a car and do the Lyft drive. So I do that. I end up lifting for like a while, really good. I spoke to everybody about Ascension. It was so rad. And then I lifted this guy that was, part of the management within this caregiver, live-in assisted living, live-in caregiver, with, so this company had six or seven different buildings, houses. Each house had 2 live-in caregivers and 6 dementia elderly residents, and everybody needed to be taken care of. It was kind of like the 2 residents were the mom and the dad. We did the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the activities, everything. So I was asked, just because of my attitude while I was just driving the car for the Lyft driver, he literally said, man, we need someone like you on our team. And I said, what kind of team is this? He explained himself. He said, I could take you to the management right now if you want. I said, sure. Management met me. She handed me a $100 bill. She says, it's $75 for you to get your life scan fingerprints. She said, go get me your fingerprints so you can keep the money. She said, you won't get a job. She said, you can keep the change and you can bring me back and we'll get you a job. They hired me. I wasn't qualified. I didn't have all of this nurses and blah, 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 but they saw something in me. They saw my compassion, my ability to caregive, right? I actually ended up moving to all of the houses under their umbrella. By the time I was done, there was about 8 of them. I was the management at all of them. I cleaned up all of them. I rewrote all of the rules. I redesigned where everything went, and I reorganized how people treated everybody, because it was a lot colder than it needed to be. At this point, Yaniv does another ayahuasca, right? So he's ready again to help me out. COVID strikes. I bail because it's just crazy. I'm in a nursing home. COVID, come on. Yaniv takes care of me again. I'm living with him. He's got a warehouse, couple warehouses, doing lots of different businesses. I end up living in one of the warehouses that he sublet to a friend. This friend was dealing with hemp, There was 3,000 pounds of hemp in this warehouse. One of the neighbors thought it was weed, orchestrated this gang to do this, hold up, and robbery. So I'm in there with my dog. Five gang members come in, guns, strip me naked, throw me in the bathroom, kicking me, pouring soap all over my hair, putting the gun like right up to my asshole, telling me they're gonna blow me a new one. They were black gangsters. They were telling me that because I was white and my grandparents did whatever to their grandparents, that I'm gonna have, I'm gonna be lynched. So it was a very traumatic situation. And then I was asked to leave. I think I had 3 weeks to leave that premises, and I had nowhere to go. And these were, my friends that I was taking care of and living with and supporting and working for free for most of the time for some of these people too. So then I've been in a hotel since. Pretty fucking crazy, yeah. There's lots of, other things that have happened, like that were super miraculous. To me, one of the most fun things was at the very beginning when I was trying to describe to my mom what was happening. I took her on a walk with my dog and her dog, and I look up in the sky, and there's this one bird in the sky. And I put my hand up and I say, Mom, look at this bird's blind. And I call him over to me, and he lands on my finger, and I show my mom this wild bird. He doesn't have an eyeball. And then on the other side, it looks like there's a sesame seed stuck in between his eyelids. So I'm like pulling it out. I'm like, look, Mom, he's blind on this side, and then like on this side he can't see because of this thing. And I'm trying to pull it out, and I realize, oh shit, that's a dehydrated, shriveled up eyeball. He's literally has no eyeballs. One's dehydrated and shriveled, looks like a sesame seed. Fucking miracle. Another time, I knew I didn't have a driver's license. I knew I wasn't legit, but I was driving. And I remember thinking, so randomly, I'm about to go into a roundabout. So I can see everything. There's no cars. I remember thinking, I got to make sure there's no cars here. I sure can't crash. Man, if I crash, it's like, why are these thoughts in my head? I sure can't crash. That would be bad. So then I go. As soon as I go, all of a sudden there's a car there. It wasn't there before, and it couldn't be real. So I live in, thank God I'm so hyper and so fast, because everything around me does seem slow motion. So I'm looking at this thing coming at me. I'm like, we're going to crash. We're going to crash. But you can't be real. I just decided you can't be real. So you just can't be. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, no, you're not real. I'm watching the fucking bumpers like pass through each other. Like their card was like a digital hologram, and my car just passed through it. No, nothing touched, but they like went, bro. And I've definitely seen my fair share of, lights and phenomena in Sedona. I am fully fucking dedicated to this mission, like I am totally aware of how important celibacy is, the conscious breathing, water, the programming of our DNA, the rewriting of the DNA, the rewriting and the programming of our own water molecules, as shown to us by Dr. Emoto, who I did the last sound engineering event for him when he was in Newport Beach. I set up the speakers and microphones and wiring for him to speak at his last lecture. I'm familiar with his energy. I really like his concept, and I utilize that a lot to talk to the water within my dogs and myself. Bring our body back to a place where we can heal, I love you. I'm not gonna lose faith no matter what. And I haven't for 5 years. For 5 years, I've been battling this uphill battle of trying to unite with people. We all have a piece of the puzzle. We're just trying to get a clear picture. If one person can just put their puzzle piece down and another person can figure out where their puzzle piece fits in relation, then we all have everything we need. We just have to share it. We can't hoard our resources. We have to offer it, and we have to combine our forces. Sorry, Bebop's being silly. I think I'm going to go and take them on a walk. I really wanted to talk longer, and I have a lot more to say, but these videos just don't work out easy for me. Lots of distractions. I actually had to put Bebop in a cage, and he was a problem pretty much the whole time. I doubt you heard, but I know I did, and I felt the energies. I'm being literally stared at by this one, and the other one's walking at me. So lots of distractions when I just try to tell my story. It's really weird. It's really weird. Love you. Can't stop, won't stop. I gotta stop this guy, but I ain't stopping.